campaigns, our message, our vision, the work our members are doing, and so on across the world in a snappy manner. And this is not easy to find because we want someone who has a lot of motivations, who likes working with volunteers. Our members make the core of our movement and do a lot of the work. And we want to make sure that this person likes to interact with them, likes to work on the community building, on getting feedback from members, and so on. We already got a lot of very, very impressive and positive candidacies in just a few hours. Yeah, more than 50, which is really impressive. It's just been a few hours. But we'll keep on looking. We really want to, we haven't yet looked at those applications, by the way, but we really, really want to find the person that will be able to bring now across the world and to the next level.
Are you that person? Maybe. So if you want to apply, if you want to join this fantastic and dynamic team, obviously very small, very difficult, there's so many things to do, but it's very fun to be a startup movement. You can go on our website or every social media. We posted several times. You're going to find a very simple, straightforward application where basically we ask you your details, and what we really want to see is why you would be our special social media manager and why should we get you in the team. So we want to see the motivation, the passion. Sadly, we are not accepting applications that are not tailored to the job position, because we don't want just someone that is good with social media. We want someone that is good with social media, but there's a lot of passion and really, really the willingness to sacrifice and push forward this movement with us. So very simple again to apply. Everything is on our website, but do it.
Exactly. So we can tell you some of the perks, by the way, but as Andrea said, the main thing we want is passion. So obviously we want you to be able to translate a complex messaging and great campaigns into very snappy messages that can go viral and so on. But more than anything, we want to see the interest for the work we do.
Yeah.
We have ongoing campaigns on climate, on democracy, on women's rights, on the access to vaccines across the world. We're tackling some of the biggest challenges of the world, and we're only 9 months old. So, there's a lot of work for us and for the way we want the world to be successful. And it won't happen overnight. So we're looking for someone who really has a drive to impact change on those topics on the long term. We're looking for someone who really believes that only by uniting and working together across the world, we can make the world a better place. Pardon my cheesy sayings, but it's what I believe. And so this is the thing we're looking for in the application. We don't want to, just numbers about growth and so on, although we do want them. But we want to see your passion for the topics. We want to see why members would want to work with you, would want to make sure that, you communicate the appropriate messages from Venezuela to Hong Kong. And one last word on this before explaining why you should apply or why you should forward this to your best friend, your mother, your son, or anyone else in your life. There's no perfect candidate. Most of the people, including ourselves, don't have the perfect way forward, and we're just testing different ways of doing it. So if you don't have, this is why we don't list educational requirements or work experience requirements. We want to see passion, and we want to see people try.
Exactly. And if on top of all this you master social media, you are a person. I mean, many people nowadays master social media. So it's not a crazy requirement. It's more about to show that you can, as Colombe said, take a mind-bending, history-making idea like the one of a global movement and make it easy, catchy, snappy for many people to grasp it, to participate, and to enjoy what we do.
Exactly. And some of the perks are beyond working in a small team, which means that you get to gain a lot of responsibilities, be able to grow in the position. It's a social media manager position, but might change in the future, who knows? You get to work with people from all across the world.
That's true.
So for example, 2 hours ago, just to give you an insight into today, Andrea and I and Laura from the team had a call with people from Seattle, from Indonesia, people who were in Spain, in Germany, and so on. So literally, one of our members, Sam from Indonesia, from Seattle, was up at 5 a.m. to attend a call on democracy and to understand how to push forward our protest in times of COVID, how to stand with Hong Kong, how to stand with Venezuela, how to stand with Belarus. This is the passion of the people you'll be working with, waking up at 5 a.m. before class before work in some parts of the world to be able to attend a call with people from usually Seattle to Indonesia. I'm saying Indonesia because I'm not sure where Emil was based.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's incredible. Like, I don't think that many people in the world have experienced this, and surely working with volunteers from 3 different continents in just one phone call, it's something that is very unique. That's why we also have difficulties with time zones, but we are managing it. And so, I mean, as a social media manager, you will do that. You will exchange ideas with people from every corner of the planet, understand how you can communicate a message that will resonate from South Africa to Canada. And it's something that is very, very unique. And I mean, it's also like very fun. It's based in London as a job. It has a lot of like small perks. And as we said, the team is kind of cool.
We're very objective on this.
Very objective. It's a 9-month contract to start, and obviously, if everything goes fine and if fundraising goes as we hope it will go, they are the basis to build a career out of this, build a team around you. Look, I really think that if I was not already here, I would apply. So like, it's really like for me an opportunity, and I understand that for some people it might not work with the timing. It might be like in the midst of a pandemic, I can't take a new job. Completely understood, but like if either this time or the next time we have a job opening, you can apply. Please do it because it's a unique experience. It's maybe not financially rewarding as Goldman Sachs. It's not as structured as a big company, but it's very fun, very cool. We offer a wonderful working environment, so we want to.
Exactly. So that was the first topic. We get very excited about the people we work with. So we went for a long time. So we're hiring, number 1. And number 2, Climate Month is coming up. Do you want to tell us about it, Andrea?
Yeah, of course. So Climate Month is the campaign that sadly Laura, that is not here right now, is managing super well. And the idea is, we started a big global climate emergency campaign demanding the United Nations to declare a global climate emergency. And this went on for several months, very cool. Many people joined us and actually got to know now through this campaign. But we realized that with the coming of COVID and so on, climate was going down in the priorities of many people. And we said, that's not right, because COVID is very sad and very annoying. But COVID might leave, while climate will only increase as a problem, climate change, if we don't tackle it. And so we said, okay, as a movement, we're going to focus a lot of energy by the end of the year to fight back and ensure that 2020, that has been a very sad year in many regards, will not be another year left in the fight against climate change. And so we decided to create the campaign around Green December. Basically a month long of actions that individuals from all over the world can take to really impact change, and especially send a particular message, a message that we believe governments should really hear. The fact that across borders, we can work together to tackle climate change. It sounds like such a basic idea, but it's not happening. It's not happening. Governments around the world still think that they can improve a bit the situation domestically and then we solve the climate crisis, but it's not the case. And so we said, okay, let's show that people like us coming together can change the world. And this is the whole philosophy around and behind Green December. And we want you, if you care about climate, if you're passionate about this topic, to join our team. Laura is working with wonderful volunteers from all over the world. There are weekly calls. They have been divided now. They're working as teams right now, sub-teams, working together on the same campaigns. It's very exciting. It's the first campaign where we really see volunteers taking the lead on many activities. And so I think it's a wonderful moment to join the campaign, being part of this wonderful dynamic team, and maybe do something very good for the environment as well.
Not maybe, for sure. And the work that those volunteers and members are putting into Green December and into making sure that, we have a meaningful month of climate actions before the end of the year, before yet another year goes by without any meaningful climate action is beautiful to see, amazing, and much needed. So join us if you're interested in doing this. Perseus asked on Instagram where you can find the link for the vacancy. So I'll just tell you where you can find everything at the same time. So for those on Instagram, if you're interested in becoming a social media manager, link on the bio, you can click, you'll find the job opening. And for those on Facebook, I just posted the link on it, and on YouTube as well. And then for Green December, to be able to participate, stay updated, and make sure that you actually impact change on the climate crisis and not just talk about it, the link is also in the bio. And otherwise, just go on our website and you'll find the way to participate, get to know volunteers from across the world, and join forces to fight the climate crisis.
That's it. We need you. So let us know if you have any difficulties finding the link. You can text us on our social media, we will answer, but be part of this wonderful experience and get ready to run 5 kilometers. But we shouldn't say that. It's one of the many activities.
And it's actually not 5, it's less.
4.8. But get ready to really, really participate, design, and push wonderful activities for December in terms of climate. Now, next topic. Colombe, what's the next topic?
It's the Wave of Freedom campaign. So, as every week, thank you, Perseus. Sorry, we're answering to the comments at the same time on Instagram. As every week, we want to tell you about our updates on the Wave of Freedom campaign. So the Wave of Freedom campaign is a campaign aimed at making sure that big democratic powers across the world, like big world powers that are democracies, start actually working for democracy. So, 2020 has been a shitty year in so many respects, from COVID to climate to, massive unemployment crisis and so on, but also for democracy. Democracy has been in decline across the world for the last 5 years. Every single year, it has been in decline. Some people in democratic countries may not yet feel it, but it often impacts them as well. And across the world, rights of people, freedoms, and democracy are being taken away. And it's time for this to stop. It was time 5 years ago, but now, the very basic democratic institutions are in danger across the world. From President Trump saying he won't relinquish power, potentially, to China cracking down on Hong Kong and the Uyghurs, on languages, on Tibet, to Taiwan's democracy and freedom always being at risk. We need to stand for democracy. So every week, people from across the world, from more than 40 cities, join forces and protest to demand that world leaders unite and take action. So what we want world leaders to do is to create the League of Democracies. I love this word because it sounds like a superhero league, which I think is much needed in this world. And with basically world leaders that are democratic working together to protect democracies, to stand with freedom fighters, and at home to better democratic practices. And this looks like, for example, for Hong Kong, with world leaders actually imposing coordinated sanctions, whether economic or diplomatic or both, on the Communist Party in China that is responsible for massive human rights violation, for cracking down on the rights of people. And so that's what we want. We've been protesting since the beginning of July, and we will continue to do so. We've been doing it in front of Chinese embassies. Now we will often move them as well in front of national parliaments, in front of, if you're not in the capital city, town halls, regional buildings, and so on, to demand that those representative elected people actually stand for democracy. But that's not the only thing we're doing, right? We're also broadening the scope, and we're doing some lobbying. So do you want to tell us about it?
I mean, for me, it is almost maybe the most exciting part. It's very cool because in the last weeks, we've been approached by various stakeholders of different freedom fights. And we understood that, what we started first for Hong Kong and then slowly broadened into Tibet, the Uyghurs, Taiwan, and all, let's say, the CCP-related topics actually had the potential to include other struggles for freedom. So to give an example, we're working, as of now, we just jumped off of a call to prepare this. We're working on how to expand the campaign to include Venezuela, Belarus, and many other very fundamental struggles that we are living and experiencing right now. So the idea is, yes, everyone has its own flag to carry, everyone has its own struggle that is very, very relevant for them. But if we actually come together across issues, if we actually stand for freedom across the world together, we have more chances to succeed. We can actually maybe win this fight against dictatorship, authoritarianism, and so on. So there is no point to only think about Belarus, or only think about Venezuela, or only think about Taiwan, when actually there are many other people in your same city, in your same conditions, that believe that freedom and democracy are paramount for their lives. So let's get together, let's fight together, and let's push back. And this is exactly what we are doing with the Wave of Freedom campaign. We are increasing and expanding our scope to several struggles for freedoms. And one, as Colombe said, one example of it is that, for example, on October 23rd, we're gonna bring, hopefully, different groups of people, different stakeholders, to protest together in front of Westminster or a similar institution in London, to show that freedom is universal, democracy is universal, and together we can actually fight back. So this for me is very exciting.
Exactly. And I'm reading some of the comments, by the way, because I'm trying to answer to them at the same time on Facebook and so on. And someone called K Francisco was saying that, this is especially important to fight for democracy and for all people in the world, especially when you see that 12 Hong Kong youths have been extradited to Chinese mainland for trying to flee in the first place.
Yeah.
And this is something, for those of you that don't know, basically those are 12 people that tried to flee in a boat to Taiwan, were caught and extradited. And people have been protesting for this, for them to have access to a fair trial, not risk life imprisonment and so on. And so every Friday, we also protest for the 12 Hong Kong youth. We protest for them to be released, for them to have a fair access to lawyers, for them not to face life in prison, just for standing for their basic rights.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we mean, right? I don't see why someone willing to support the protests in Belarus is not also concerned about what's going on in Hong Kong. For me, these are very, very related issues. If dictatorships wins in Eastern Europe, is strengthened across the board. So if we are clever about this, if we really believe that the principles behind our struggles are the ones that matter the most, we should unite forces. And hopefully we'll make it. I mean, we see a lot of positive signs already. People are interested in this idea. People, for example, in our internal calls, many people join, problem solve together on how to actually make it happen. And I'm sure that many of our followers will support this as well. So let's get together, let's fight back, and let's win this battle for democracy.
Exactly, but this is not all of the exciting news we have. So not only are we hiring
even more
in other stuff, it's like better than Christmas for those who celebrate Christmas. So not only are we hiring a social media manager, to which you want to apply and you want to spread the word, not only are we broadening the scope of the Wave of Freedom campaign to make sure that we include protests and struggles from Venezuela to Belarus to Hong Kong. Not only are we starting to lobby governments behind the scenes with members to make sure that they start coordinating across countries that democracies stand together for freedom, but we are about to launch a pretty defining survey. And I know survey sounds boring, but this is actually very exciting. And I forgot, not only are we preparing a climate month to show world leaders that people across the world are capable of taking action to stop the climate crisis. There's too much happening. I'm getting lost. So let me tell you about this extremely exciting, world-defining survey. And I'm not being very humble about this survey, but that's fine. So almost a year ago, actually, a year ago on Saturday, we pre-launched Now. And what I mean by this is that we didn't have enough funds to be able to create the tech infrastructure for the movement. So we pre-launched with a crowdfunder for people to buy their memberships in advance. And thanks to this, we were able to launch Now, to create the tech infrastructure, to launch our campaigns, and to work together. And on the anniversary of the pre-launch of Now, which is on Saturday, October the 17th, we will launch a major survey that has a very big purpose for us. So through this survey, we want to hear not only from members, but from people from all across the world, what they think are the biggest global challenges that we need to deal with. And we want to be precise. It might be a lack of universal basic income for the youth. it might be the fact that we need to increase fiscal justice for multinational companies. So to make sure that Amazon and Facebook pay their taxes. Well, this is pretty basic, but yeah. It should be the case. It could be, I mean, I'm running out of ideas, but ensuring that women make up for 50% of politicians in politics across the world. Yes, that's one of my favorite topics. But basically what we want to do is hear from people across the world what you think are the biggest issues of our times, and then how you think we should solve them. And this is key for us because it will inform our agenda as a movement for the years to come.
Exactly.
So we launch campaigns regularly. We launch campaigns on climate, on women's rights, on vaccines, on COVID, on democracy, encompassing Hong Kong, Belarus, and Venezuela. But we want to make sure that we are in touch with the biggest concerns of the people that are willing to fight for a better future. And so we will launch this survey. It won't just be a typical survey. We don't do things very typically, in case you don't know. It will be something that will enable you to contribute, but then we'll organize discussions around them online. So if we identify youth unemployment or economic inequalities as a basic one, we'll organize discussions all together with speakers and so on to make sure that we understand exactly how we can solve those global issues together, and to make sure that it's on our radar for the years to come. And last point, and I'm done with the survey. I'm really excited about the survey.
It's very cool.
But this will make sure that people from all across the world, so literally from I'm French, from France to Palestine to South Africa to India to Brazil. I'm not going to say the name of all of the countries I know exist, but from all across the world, actually get to input on it. That these are not just African, European, American, or Asian solutions or problems, but we understand how we feel across the world about global challenges and how we think that a global movement can help in dealing with them. So a year after the pre-launch, we want to hear from you.
Exactly. I mean, I think that Colombo explained super well, but for those that join later, basically Saturday, we're going to send a link out to every single one of our followers on every social media. We basically a questionnaire that you can fill, and this questionnaire will inform the strategy of the movement, of our movement, in the years to come. As simple as it gets. So please fill it. Give us your ideas, because we really want to ensure that the campaigns we're going to take up next year, the philosophy behind the movement, is representative of the wishes and dreams of all of us that believe that together we're stronger. Exactly.
And Raha already said and already sent a very important campaign.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sorry, we're looking in all directions, but the Instagram live was on the computer, which was overheating, so we have a different level.
Yeah, we're a bit like...
So we're looking at it. But Raha was already giving a suggestion, which is really good. She's saying that transitional justice and holding war criminals accountable for their crimes against human rights in war-torn countries, for example, would be a very, very important topic. I couldn't agree more, so I hope you'll fill out the survey and that you'll help us in understanding how to push this issue forward across the world.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what we need. If you feel that in your community, in your country, in your continent, or all over the world, there is a topic that needs more support, needs more relevance, where a community like ours can bring some value, please let us know. Because we can know, we started, this first year was about testing a lot, getting stronger, laying the foundation for a strong movement. And to be fair, we made it. We have a lot of people now, we have a small team, we're starting to create tractions in several different channels. So we have the basis, but now we need the direction for the future. And you can help us with comments like the one of Raha Fajli. So this is a very exciting topic. So from Saturday, you can contribute on that. And I think that the last point we want to mention is that, as you might know, if you're a member of now, every week we host a community chat, basically video conferences with members all over the world, where we discuss, since we cannot meet physically in an easy way, we discuss important topics for our community, from climate to technology to democracy to freedom to the functioning of now, many topics that people find interesting and appealing. And this week, is we're gonna have 2 on Thursday, one at 11 a.m. London time, one at 6 p.m. London time. You can go on our website in the event section, you're gonna find them with different time zones. And the idea is, in the first one, we're gonna present our work as now for those that are newcomers or for those that didn't have the chance to attend before. In the afternoon, actually, one of our members will carry forward a presentation and a discussion on a peculiar topic. For example, our Green December campaign. So if you're not yet a member of NOW, and if you actually want to be part of a global community of volunteers, which is something very unique, please go on our website, subscribe, become part of this initiative. We're going to send you a link and you're going to be able to straight away jump into the conversation, get to know heroes, as we like sometimes call them, our volunteers from all over the world, and see that from Australia to Japan to Argentina to Canada,
Good accent.
to Canada, there are people that share your same dreams and hopes. And they might speak different languages, they might have different accents, they might like different food, but actually the underlying values that we all have are common, are shared. So you should really, really, really come and see it for yourself. It's wonderful. Fantastic. I see on one of the Instagrams, for example, there is Frank, there is a Venezuelan, so perfect. This is exactly what you're trying to do. Hi, Frank. This is an example of a very global community. We're discussing how our Fridays for Freedom campaign can involve Venezuelans, Hong Kongers, Belarusians, or anyone else that wants to support struggles for freedom. And here we have an example. I hope that Frank will join us, exactly as Dean Chill on the other Instagram is thanking us for the support for Hong Kong. This is exactly the spirit that we want. This is exactly what we need to build. Did I explain it well, Colin?
Extremely well. I mean, we're a bit overwhelmed. Sorry for we jumped on so many different topics, but seriously, we're so excited to have so many stuff coming up. And one last thing we can maybe quickly talk about is the fact that last week, after the release of the TED Talk I did, we had a lot of new members from all across the world who joined. And we had a very, very cool community chat. So we had, really tons of people from all continents who joined, who brainstormed on how to have more meaningful actions across the world to impact change. And for me, this is really, I don't think I can say it's very, I don't think I can give this meaning justice just with words, but it's really the core of what we do. Having so many people across the world that come together, that, from the age of 16 to, I don't ask everyone their age, but to most senior, who come together, who share their experiences, their hopes, their dreams, and who try to work together across cultural barriers, languages, religious barriers, nationalities, and so on, to impact change across the world. It's just beautiful. And I think that, everything we talked about here just will help us in getting that. So from getting a social media manager that can communicate this in a more eloquent manner than I just did, and that can really do justice to the work of our members, and it's very much needed. And then we are just so excited to be extending the work of our democracy campaign to other struggles like Venezuela, like Belarus, like Tibet, and so on, and to impact and stop the climate crisis, hopefully one day. So we're very excited. It's a great moment for the movement. If you haven't joined us, we really want to work with you all. And I think we'll answer one last question that we got, which was, is there any age restrictions to attend virtual events?
Yes, you must be 20. No, I'm joking. There is no age restriction at all. You are super welcome from the age of 2 to the age of 100.
You might have difficulties.
Exactly. If you are comfortable coming, just come. We really, it's super, a relaxed environment. We discuss very, very calmly and very joyfully about many actually important issues. So actually, if you're very young, you might find it informative. If you are more senior, you might find it a useful update on what's going on in the world. There's a lot of young people in the call, and that's what I'm saying, they are more senior. So I find it very, very accessible. Obviously, the only thing is that you need to speak a bit of English. You don't need to speak a very good English. It's enough to understand and be able to share a few ideas. Actually, we have a portfolio of very funny accents, starting from mine. So
Mine.
to columns. So it's definitely come with whatever age, background, whatever you are, and you feel comfortable with. Just come over and join us.
Exactly. So thank you so much for watching this live, for participating. If you want to have more in-depth discussion, we have our community chats coming up.
Thursday.
I was going to say Friday, so thank you. It's Thursday. And just go on the website and sign up for it, and you'll receive the link. And we hopefully can't wait to work. Let me try again. We hopefully can't wait to work with you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.